This story is not a recreation. It's a visit to the busiest hospital facility of its kind in the world. More than 60,000 patients a year are treated at this New York City Medical Center. Though their names may be peculiar, like Apple, Purdy, Mickey, and Teaser, the care they receive and the bond between them and the people they live with is no laughing matter.
So it happened about an hour ago. And
Yeah.
Okay, do you know how old he is?
7 months old.
I'm going to take him to the back and we can get started on this. We're going to need to sedate him.
7-month-old Tano Jr. is rushed into the emergency room.
I was helping him to take a bath, and when I tried to rinse him, and then suddenly he screamed. I was shaking, I don't know what to do.
And like this is to make sure that the blood supply to this part of the toe has not been cut off.
Tano, a Yorkshire Terrier puppy, had gotten his toe wedged in the bathtub drain.
That's not going to fit back through. We're going to have to cut this thing off.
All right, little guy. All right.
It was a relatively simple problem, but it's a rather serious problem too, because there's always a risk that he could lose his toe. This part here is cut, but we can just pull this away.
All right, little guy. Be brave. We're almost done.
They're fun.
All right.
Wait, here it is. It's out.
It's out.
It's out. Look, honey.
Oh my God,
Wow.
look at the size of his toe.
The skin is still pink. The nail may wind up falling off simply because there's been damage in that area. So it looks like it'll be okay. Here he is.
Hi, Junior. Good boy. Good boy.
Boy, Tano.
Go.
She recognized the owner immediately and was very happy to see her, licking her face and everything. It feels good just to be able to release an animal like that.
They happened to save his toe, I guess. They really happened out.
On September 2nd, 1994, snake lovers Katie Mahaffey and Robert Filipovich returned to the Animal Medical Center's Bobst Hospital. They have come for follow-up tests on their 9-foot python Cecil, who became gravely ill 2 weeks earlier.
We tried to feed him, and he got half of his food down and was caught in his throat. At that point, we realized that we had to get the animal out of his mouth and then take him to the Animal Medical Center as quickly as possible.
I have the same love for Cecil that I have for my cats. He is a very sweet-natured snake. He loves people. He's very social. I was very concerned that he was going to die that night. I had him wrapped in a sheet, and I was concerned that when I opened that sheet that I was going to see him dead there.
Okay. The snake was exposed to flea collar, and because of that, he became very sick and very weak and wasn't moving.
My biggest concern now is his neck is just, he's still got this terrible problem with his neck.
Right. The type of toxins found in the flea collar are something called organophosphates. It causes a dysfunction in an enzyme. And when that enzyme doesn't work, his nerves don't function properly, and therefore his muscles don't function properly. He stops moving, he can't swallow, he can't eat, so he's going to die. You know, the thing is that this problem is chronic. It's going to, you know, it took him a while to get sick. It's going to take him a while to get better. And, you know, the medication that we're giving him, the medication is not going to stop the toxicity. Let's get his mouth open. Do you have a... What's this? Yeah.
It's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay.
It looks really nice and pink in there. Yeah, there we go.
It looks healthy.
Oh, look at that. That looks great. He's like, I'm pushing down. He's pushing back up on me. He wasn't doing that before.
Very active today.
So what I'm going to do is take him in the back.
Okay.
Get a weight. I'll get some blood from him, okay?
Great.
Exotic animal specialist Dr. Karen Rosenthal needs to do a blood test to see if the treatment to remove the toxins is working.
Okay. Well, what we're going to attempt to do is take some blood from him. And it's not an easy thing to do in a snake this size. The problem with snakes, unfortunately, they don't have peripheral limbs where we have vessels to get blood from, and so there are only a few places where we can get blood from them. And one place that's the most accessible is the heart, but we have to find the heart and hold a very nice snake upside down. It's about a third of the way down, yeah. A 26-pound, 9-foot snake is not going to want to be held upside down for very long. We're almost lucky Cecil is sick. If Cecil was well, we wouldn't be able to do this. Then if Cecil was well, we wouldn't be doing this. One of the problems with snake hearts is they beat so slowly, less than 1 beat per second. It takes time to watch that and watch the heart and see where it is to make sure you're going in the right place. Come on, Cecil. Hold on.
Still, Cecil.
he's just moving too much. And then if Cecil starts moving his 26 pounds around, it makes it more difficult because you can find the heart and then you lose it. It's very, very subtle, and because it beats so slowly, this can take forever in a snake. You can see it right there. Okay, let's give this a try again. You guys got him?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
How's he doing down there? Tell him he can have orange juice and cookies after we're done with this. Put your finger there? Okay, good job.
We've used flea collars successfully in preventing mites. In our boa's cages, in doing the same thing with in Cecil's cage, we almost killed him. So what works for one kind of snake doesn't necessarily work for another one. It's a good lesson to learn.
Thank you. You're welcome. Cecil's prognosis is probably good because he's responding to the medication. The other thing that's in his corner is that he has some of the most dedicated owners I've ever seen, and they're doing everything they can to make him better. Time will tell, but with the people that take care of him, he'll probably live many more years.
Later that same night, a 2-year-old cat is admitted in serious condition. Dr. Tim Rocha takes over Tiffany's care.
I asked Mr. Hidalgo what had happened, and he said that his cat had fallen out of the window, and my next question was, well, what floor was that? And that was the 8th floor. She's in shock. That's a bad height because she's lost a fair amount of blood, so we need to get some fluid support to her.
My mother, she was frantic, and she just came downstairs and she saw the cat, and she was like, she was crying and stuff. So I just came over here real quick as possible.
Tiffany fell in that 6 to 10 story height where we see more severe injuries. By that time, they've reached the terminal speed of 60 miles per hour, but they haven't had enough time to get themselves in the right position to land. So those are the ones that actually do the worst. She had 2 very severe breaks in her left leg, and she probably lost a fair amount of blood from the open wounds where her bones had broken through her skin. Once his heart system is stable, we could take him to surgery tomorrow. An open fracture of a limb is not something that I can say, I hope your cat does fine, here's some antibiotics, and send him out the door. There are 2 things to do humanely for this cat. 1 is to fix his leg. 2 would be to put the cat to sleep. That's very tough stuff.
The financial situation right now is real tight, but I can't just put her to sleep.
By the next day, Tiffany's condition is stabilized enough for surgery. Her owner and doctors decide to proceed.
So what she has is a grade 1 open fracture.
Head of surgery, Dr. Paul Sheely, will perform the complex operation with the help of surgical resident Gary Lindgren.
There were some bruises in her chest and a break of her back leg that was open, but Tiffany fell 8 stories and landed on the pavement below.
She's a very lucky kitty because we see most of our injuries with high-rises between the 5th and the 9th floor.
If we look at humans and dogs, there's almost 100% fatality over 6 stories. Because cats tend to fall splay-legged, they seem to do a lot better than humans or dogs do.
So we've got 2 pieces rather than multiple pieces.
We decided to repair her by putting a bone plate with bone screws to help align the bone ends and eventually form new bone there so that she can have functional use of her leg.
Sometimes you have to get creative. So what we're going to try to do, since this is so difficult, is actually try to get the plate attached to the bottom part of the fracture and use the plate to help lever the fracture into place. Our plans are to use the plate to help hold everything in alignment. So you can see we got a continuity of the bone.
It looks very good post-op, except for there's some loss of bone in places where we don't like to have it. With time, that'll fill in, and she'll probably go back to normal, so I think she'll do well.
2 days after surgery, John Hidalgo comes to take Tiffany home.
You got it? Yeah, I got it. How you doing, Mom? This looks much better. It was just amazing. She looks like she was real happy to see me. She looks great.
The fracture was pretty bad, and we're kind of... It's going to be a race between how quickly her bone heals, how quickly our screws loosen, and whether or not she's going to get an infection. Hopefully, Tiffany's going to come out on top. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
See you in a couple weeks.
Tiffany, thanks you too.
Sure.
She already told me that.
With each passing day, Cecil the python is getting stronger.
You're such a good boy.
We had to give him injections twice a day for well over a month now. We're still doing that. It's very difficult for me to inflict pain on him. That's been hard. I think the hardest part.
She doesn't like to give injections. I have to do it.
We make him be the evil one.
I'm the evil one in the family. And it's better to learn how to do it yourself, because then you don't have to keep going back to the vets, number one, and it costs you less money, number two. A lot of people don't understand that snakes are just as loving as any other animal that they can have, and you definitely fall in love with them. They're our pets, and we love them dearly, and we would do anything for them.
Such a good boy.
And that's it. Dr. Rosenthal understands that. She has her own reptiles, and she definitely understands the bond that you develop between any animal.
Have a good day.
See you later, boo.
When he's stronger, you can wear him around your neck, and he just hugs you. It's such a wonderful feeling. There's nothing better than a hug from Cecil.
He is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful snake. He's so sweet. I think he's gonna make it.
It's been 10 days since Tiffany fell from the 8th-story window of her apartment. Her leg is healing well.
The only two windows that don't have screens, accidentally, one of them was left just a tad open, and she must have been playing with Rambo or something. She must have just gone outside adventure, and this is what happened.
Any cat standing on the ledge of a window looking out would be able to see that they're 8 stories up, and it's not going to make an effort to jump out the window. Unfortunately, cats will jump from the floor onto the windowsill, and they might not estimate the distance right.
It only takes one little slip for this to happen.
If you don't have any screens, I advise that screens be put in because they're very important, and that's how a lot of cats die.
I'm really happy that the Hidalgos will have Tiffany back in their household. That makes me feel very good, and that's exactly why I'm here.
Come on, eat. There you go.
3 months later, John and his mother Betty got another surprise.
I didn't know Tiffany was pregnant. She must have been pregnant, during the surgery, but just didn't come through, x-rays. And she gave birth.
Tiffany trajo, pues, al mundo 5
Tiffany brought 5 adorable kittens into the world.
de los cuales
She is a very loving mother.
cariñosa mamá, fue como un milagro.
It really was a miracle that she was able to survive.
She has her title, 9 lives cat. I guess she has 8 now.